So I ended up watching the Blue Beetle movie, and oh my God, there's a bunch of stuff I got to cover and talk about. But unfortunately, here's the thing: I cannot talk about the Blue Beetle character without ranting about the Blue Beetle character. Now, because I hate Jaime. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna call him Jamie. You don't like it? I don't really care. Jamie's character. Jamie's Blue Beetle. I hate that character. And it has nothing to do with the character himself. It has everything to do with DC's handling of the Blue Beetle character. Because, okay, hold on. I'm about to talk about comic books. So the majority of you are probably going to be tuning out because you'll be going, what the hell does talking about comic books have to do with comic book movies? Anyway, I loved Ted Kord's Blue Beetle ever since the Justice League International comics back in the 90s. I love Ted Kord's Blue Beetle. Up until DC decided to kill off Ted Kord's character for quite literally no reason. Because as much as it pissed me off that they killed off Ted Kord's character, it's the reasoning behind it. Because they end up introducing this new character, this kid, who ends up finding this, I don't know, magical, technological alien device that when he puts it on, grants him this, special suit of armor. A ability that has absolutely nothing to do with the Blue Beetle legacy in the goddamn first place. I mean, it's an original character. You could have called his character Scarab or Blue Scarab or whatever. There was literally no reason to kill off Ted Kord's character just so that you can have this original character that has nothing to do with the Blue Beetle legacy, just so you can give him the Blue Beetle name. So yeah, I hold a grudge. It's a long time, but that's what I do. So I've never forgiven DC for Jaime's Blue Beetle character. It sucks. Okay? But here's the weird thing. This actually worked in the movie's favor because for the most part, I know all of the characters that they make superhero movies out of. So all I end up doing is watching the movie to see how they screw up the character. With the Blue Beetle character, I don't know anything about him. I know very little about him. So this was the movie's opportunity to, get me interested in the character and get me to go, okay, this character's not that bad. I can give him a chance. But then I watched the movie and I'm getting flashbacks of so many other movies, but one movie I'm getting a major flashback on is the early 2000s Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. Because one of the big problems with the Daredevil movie is that because you have to excuse me, I'm going to be rambling a bit. One of the things with this movie is that I'm watching it and I understand the point of the scene. I understand what they're trying to do, but the execution of it was just so bad, which is why the Daredevil movie, sucked, is because it's like somebody who doesn't know how to do a comic book movie is making what they think a comic book movie is supposed to be. Because unlike the Daredevil movie with Blue Beetle, there's already been a ton of movies. So whoever the director went, oh, okay, let's take this element, let's take this element. It's not only just generic. Like, it's not just a generic by-the-numbers superhero movie. It's a badly executed, generic, run-of-the-mill superhero. It's just like, for example, when Jaime first gets the Scarab. Now the movie's going, okay, this is the part where the Scarab is going to integrate with Jaime, and Jaime first gets the power of the Scarab. Now I understand the point, but how does the movie execute it? First of all, the Scarab face hugs him for no reason, and then all of a sudden is going all around him, and then he goes, it's inside of me. Which is then applied that the Scarab went in through his butt. Why? Why? Because when he takes it, but later when the shirt is off, you can see that it's integrated on his back. So why did the scarab just land on him, go onto his back, and connect onto his back? But instead, the scarab has to go into his body and then somehow attach on the outside of his back. Like this, just let him have the pot. Just have the scarab go on. 10 seconds, it's integrated, and he's like, "What's happening?" But they had to come somehow make it comedic and make it more than it needs to be, and it fails miserably. But then the scarab goes, "Okay, now we're going to test out the suit." And again, I understand what it's trying to do, but the problem is, Jaime's just along for the ride. He's not even getting understanding the powers of the suit until eventually at the end of the movie. But Jaime is just along for the ride. Not only that, you can't have a superhero that needs his mom and grandmother to rescue him. A superhero needs to. You'd think the idea is to have a superhero survive on his own and make his own way and pull himself out of the fire. But no, his mother and grandmother and sister have to help. Everything that they're trying to do, like when Jaime ends up learning his powers, it's like for comedic effect, but not actually figuring out how to use his powers. Like he never really gets to learn how to use his powers until the end of the movie, but it's not even relevant because he barely uses it. And here's the other thing. A lot of you are going, "Oh, why can't we just have a bad guy who just wants to be a bad guy?" Because then you end up getting Victoria Cord. She's literally the bad guy because she's a token bad guy because this movie needs a villain. Now, I'm not saying they all have to be sympathetic villains. I'm not saying that. I understand that point. But at the same time, you can't just have a stock villain just for the sake of having a stock villain because it sucks. The execution of her character is ridiculous. Oh, then we have, what's his name? Carapax. Okay, we got to talk about the plot of this movie. So let me see if I get this straight. Victoria Cord already has the OMAC system set up. Because Carapax, when he transforms in the beginning of the movie, it's the OMAC system. So she has the OMAC system. It's good to go. You can sell it to the army today. You have, at the end of the movie, you see that room with like hundreds, if not thousands, of OMAC suits. You're good. What? Why do you need the scarab? Oh, wait, you don't. You literally don't. And not only that, you're going to create this incredibly powerful suit of armor, make thousands of them, and then sell them to the government. At least try and say I'm going to create an army to take over the world. If you're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of these blue Beetle suits at your command and control, and her plan is to just sell them to the foreign governments. But again, then we have the download. Okay, I'm going to be all over the place because I'm just going to remember the stupid as I go along. So she wants to download the computer code of the scarab. How? It's alien tech. How are you downloading? Okay, I'm watching her download, right? And I'm watching the downloading process, and I'm going, how are you downloading this so fast? I've downloaded game patches. I have downloaded game patches that take longer than what she's downloading, and she's downloading the computer code of one of the most sophisticated, technologically advanced items ever, and she's downloading it faster than I'm downloading, a day one patch on a video game. Not only that, according to the intro, like in the beginning of the movie, you see a bunch of scarabs just being invented. They weren't even built. They just kind of came into existence. Where did this scarab come from? The movie has no idea, and the movie doesn't even care. I mean, this movie isn't even trying. It isn't even trying, and then it just lands on Earth. Forget it. Just decided to choose Jaime for no particular reason, but for some reason it decided to land on Earth. However long ago, the laziness of just this movie and the storyline is just insane. So the OMAC system already exists. She downloads it. Not only does she download it so fast, so quickly, but the movie kind of skips them actually decoding the computer programming and actually applying it. Apparently, they download it and it instantly gets transferred into Carapax's suit and all of the other OMAC suits. How? No reason, because that's it. And speaking of Carapax, at the end of the movie, right? He ends up deciding to stop being a bad guy because, he knew what Victoria was like, but it isn't until the end of the movie that he decides to get mad at her for it. And then he decides to kill himself. Why? No reason. So that they can actually destroy. They're going, okay, we have Carapax's version of the blue Beetle suit, but we can't actually keep it. We have to get rid of it. How do we get rid of it? We just have Carapax decide to kill himself for no reason, so that way we can get rid of the Carapax's blue Beetle version, scarab suit. It's just... she ends up... Jenny goes to steal the blue Beetle, right? The scarab, right? Now, she goes in, steals the tax key card to enter the room and steal the scarab. And apparently, there's no cameras in the room, checking to make sure that, the security. There's no security in this room. No cameras or anything. No alarms, nothing. But here's the other part that I'm going, well, if she stole the tax key card to get into the room and then closed the door behind her, how did the tech get in the room if he doesn't have his key card? Anybody? The grandmother. Why not just make the grandmother the superhero? Because apparently this movie was trying to make it. This movie was more of an origin story of the goddamn grandmother than it was of Jaime. It was. She has that gun. She has that weapon. Now, you have to remember, this is Ted Kord who built this. So when she's holding it, I'm thinking it's some kind of stun ray or some type of non-lethal type weapon. It's a Gatling gun. First of all, how is this old lady holding and maneuvering a Gatling gun? Second of all, why the hell would Ted Kord build a Gatling gun? Oh, wait, he wouldn't. Oh, and by the way, Jaime goes, well, I don't kill. But apparently the rest of the family doesn't have a problem with that. Like, the grandmother basically mows down all of those guards. Apparently your grandmother doesn't have a problem killing anybody, but apparently you do. Like, you're trying to give this impression that he's like this heroic character, but everybody else can kill people, but because Jaime doesn't, that's okay. Oh, okay. So here's the disadvantage. Here's the thing. The family's business is gone. The house is going to be repossessed, and Jamie doesn't have a job to be able to support his family. That never gets resolved at the end of the movie. Jenny goes, "Oh, I'll rebuild your house." Who cares if you rebuild the house? It's still going to, your house burnt down. What do you care, family? Your house is about to get repossessed anyway, so there's no loss. Your family business, you still don't have a family business. You still have no source of income. Jamie still doesn't have a job that is able to support all of you. None of the actual family's problems gets resolved at the end of the movie. Jamie and his family are not only just as worse off as they were before, now they're even more worse off because the father's dead. And the father dies for no goddamn reason. None. Because later on, after Jaime is captured, he then somehow enters this magic realm. How? Why? Where is it? What is it? No goddamn clue. And is somehow able to communicate with his father so that his father can say, "This is your destiny." At least with Uncle Ben. Because again, here's the thing about this movie. You are obviously going to get tropes from various other movies. Obviously, Iron Man, Shazam, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. There was this one scene that I was going, this is such a ripoff. Because there's a scene in which Jaime's Blue Beetle face mask is kind of ripped off, right? And I'm going, well, the scarab is kind of like nanotechnology. Why doesn't the suit just fix the hole? Why doesn't the suit just repair itself? Well, no, because we got to somehow keep part of the face, kind of like with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where the mask is ripped off and you have to see his face. And I'm going, this doesn't make any sense. This really doesn't make any sense. Then we have Rudy. So they sneak. She sneaks the blue scarab. She sneaks the scarab out of the building by handing it to Jaime and goes, "Here, you take this." Now, before she hands Jaime the box, you hear, "Lock down the building! Lock down the building!" Which means nobody goes in, nobody goes out. But apparently, Jaime gets to leave. What? Hey, Jenny, you could have just left too. Like, why did you have to hand the box to Jaime for him to leave when you could have just walked out yourself? Anyway, so they got to go back to Court Industries so that she can get the watch. And Rudy goes, "What kind of security do you have?" And then just spouts off these random types of security devices. JD doesn't even tell him, "Well, yes, that's exactly what we have. How do you know?" Like, he just spouts off some of these random security devices and just happens to have built a device to be able to counter those security devices. Why, Rudy? Why did you build this? If it wasn't for the fact that you had to break into Court Industries with those specific type of security measures, why exactly did you build that device? No reason. Like this, the writing is so lazy. It's not even trying to be a story. Forget the level of stupid in this movie. This movie is so goddamn lazy and going, "Oh, he has it because we need it, so therefore he has it." It's not even... Oh, and to add insult to injury, we get a post-credits scene where Ted Kord is alive anyway. Oh, by the way, spoilers. But then again, if you haven't seen the movie, you don't care anyway. So, but Ted Kord's alive. What was the point of having Jaime be the Blue Beetle anyway? if the Blue Beetle is still alive? It's just. So now I'm more interested in the second movie. Why? Because I'll finally get to see Ted Kord. But this movie sucked so bad and bombed that we're never even going to get the second movie for me to ever get to see Ted Kord as Blue Beetle anyway. This was basically a waste of a movie because all I care about is the second movie where Ted Kord's going to be Blue Beetle anyway. It's just. Okay, I'm sure there's other stupid, but I'm done. I can't think of anything, and I don't care anymore. This this was so ridiculous. It's it's not only filled with stupid, but the execution of the movie was just so bad. I guess the closest I really can't even think of the closest example I can think of is the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, but most of you haven't seen that anyway. But yeah, this my biggest disappointment of this movie is that crap. Unfortunately, I'm never going to see Ted Kord. I'm never going to actually see the Blue Beetle that I want, which is Ted Kord, because this movie it failed. Plus, what's his face? James Gunn is revamping the DCU anyway, so it's just yeah. This was and the crazy part is I should have expected this. I should have expected it was gonna suck. But again, I keep hoping that it's gonna. There's enough. There's enough superhero movies that every once in a while I'm going, oh my god, I actually like this. That I always that it's still that the comic book movies still have this little hope inside of me that hey, maybe this one will be good. But anyway, the Blue Beetle movie was a waste of a movie. I don't even. It's all the Blue Beetle movie is kind of like it's like when you have a homework assignment and you have like 2 weeks to do it, but then you do it, but you just do it the night before and you cram as much as you can, hope for the best. That's what this movie was. It was a movie in which the director waited till the night before, pumped out whatever he could think of, and then just went, here's the movie. That's what the Blue Beetle movie is. It's anyway. And you know what the weird part is? As bad as this Blue Beetle movie is, I got to deal with the freaking Barbie movie. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm good. Like I said, I'm sure there's more stupid that I didn't cover, but I don't care anymore. I'm done. I'm good. I let it all out. Anyway, I'm out of here. See ya.